on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
This is a Dayton 24/7 now Code Red weather alert.
We want to give you a look this morning over the Troy traffic circle. You can see the roadways out that way are definitely wet, and look at that flag. It is windy out there this morning.
We're monitoring a number of issues in the Miami Valley this morning, and we have live team coverage. Let's kick it off with Dayton 24/7 Now's Nick Maruziak. He's live in the Weather Center. We'll get out to Claire Faith in just a moment.
All right, we are looking at damaging wind gusts for today. There is the threat of an isolated tornado as well as some large hail. I don't think today is a day where we're surefire going to 100% see severe weather. Instead, what we are going to be looking at is the potential for, again, strong gusty winds and potentially a couple storms that could produce a tornado or two. Now, again, here's what we're watching. During the afternoon, it's all about how much clearing. Once we do get the clearing, I think there is the potential for the storms to get fired up. They'll get fired up out to the west. They'll arrive as we get into the afternoon. I'm thinking between the hours of about 3 to 6 p.m. is going to be the main time period. I say 7 p.m. to be safe. Either way, this is the time period where, again, we have the biggest threat of severe weather. Strong damaging wind gusts are possible. And frankly, even if we don't see a whole lot of storms, we are going to be looking at the potential for these some really gusty winds throughout the afternoon and evening. So again, be weather prepared for today. As of right now, your interstates are looking good as you begin your morning commute. We'll check in on that incident as it has just popped up.
Claire Faith continues our live team coverage this morning from Dayton, where rain continues to fall. And Claire, what's it look like out there right now?
Well, Nathan, the rain actually just started to fall on my head. It's not that bad yet, but it is definitely cold and wet. The roads are actually wet as well. On my drive over here, 75 going south, the roads were definitely wet. And right here off of Xenia Avenue, the roads are wet. So if you are driving the highways and byways this morning, you want to make sure that you are safe and taking your time. It's no rush this morning. So get up early and get out early and be safe. Now back to you guys in studio.
To stay up to date with the latest weather developments throughout the day, make sure you check out the Dayton 24/7 Now app. Scan the QR code on your screen. You can also find it for free on the device's app store.
This morning, Butler Township Police providing new body camera footage of this controversial arrest. We're now seeing the officer's point of view and learning what led up to the moment he struck a woman multiple times. Mamie Baugh spoke with law enforcement and the woman at the center of the controversy.
We know this all started over a piece of cheese inside this McDonald's behind me. Now, officers came to the scene after they were called by an employee inside saying that Ms. Hancock was trespassing. Now, when officers arrived, they did listen to her side of the story. After that, they did ask her for her first and last name so they can create a trespass notice. However, Ms. Hancock refused, and of course, as you see here, things did escalate between the two. Now, I did speak with her, and this is what she had to say about the whole encounter.
I almost lost my life behind it. The reason why I said, I'm going to be quiet now. I'm going to stand up. I'm not going to be George Floyd. They're not going to get me on the ground. They're not going to attack me.
We do know that officers Todd Stanley and Tim Zellers are the officers you see in this video. Now, we do know that Stanley, the officer that punched Hancock, is on administrative leave at this time. The police chief tells me it's because of the public outcry. Now, I did also talk to him about why the department is investigating itself in this situation, and this is what he had to say.
With the degree of this, don't you think it's important for there to be an impartial party that comes in and looks into the conduct of your officers?
Well, that depends. I mean, if so, when we're looking at the degree of what we're talking about, are we talking about the video that we saw, or are we talking about what the degree of the officer's response was?
You know, that video got a lot of views all over social media. Now, another thing to note in this situation is that Attorney Michael Wright, along with Hancock and the Dayton NAACP, said that they want accountability. They want the officers in this situation to be fired, and they want an independent investigation. Now, we'll continue to follow this story for you, and as we learn more, we'll bring you the very latest. Back to you.
Dayton Public Schools searching for a new superintendent. Dr. Elizabeth Lawley will not renew her contract. She expressed her love for the district and the students of Dayton. Now, the state recently named Lawley Superintendent of the Year. She said she's not retiring and will stay in education, but did not give specifics.
Now, the state is spending more money to help early childhood care and education. The Ohio Department of Job and Family Services is getting $48 million over the next 3 years. DeWine says, quote, this grant allows Ohio to better serve these children by creating stronger cross-program coordination and higher quality programming in publicly funded childcare, public preschools, early intervention, and home visiting that form a strong foundation for successful learning.
And a look at the Richmond, Indiana Police Department's Facebook page this morning. Right now, that state's legislature is looking for a way to honor fallen officer Sierra Burton. Burton died in the line of duty 4 months ago. The Indiana legislature just introduced a resolution renaming US 27 and I-70. A House committee passed it unanimously and now heads to the Indiana Senate.
And this morning, big news for the East End Family Services and Wellness Center. The organization is now expanding its services for families here in the Miami Valley.
We're heading back out to Clara Faith to explain what changes are coming. Clara.
The East End Family Services and Wellness Center here in Dayton mission is to educate families and people during difficult times. The group just got $1 million of federal funding, and they say the money will go towards expanding mental health services and programs for youth and family planning.
We have a middle school program, which we want to expand. And then our youth program, we're gearing toward not only keeping our teenagers in school to complete high school, but also give them some early career experience.
And so, Clara, when exactly does East End plan on launching these new programs?
I'm told that the expansion is supposed to be happening this spring, and later on today, Congressman Mike Turner and former Governor Bob Tuff will be here, and they will be sharing details on the expansion. Reporting live in Dayton, Clara Faith, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Our time right now is 5:07. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
Your weather, of course, on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
Prices are coming down, but consumers are pulling back. I'm Atra Nashar, and coming up, a look at new data showing the economy is shifting direction.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
live on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red Weather Alert.
Good morning. We are looking at a code red weather day, or should I say code red weather period, as we get into the afternoon. This morning, we're waking up to some scattered showers. Out to the west, we do have a lot of clearing, and what will end up happening is the low will spin its way through, and another one will develop, and within that second low, there is a chance that we are looking at some strong to severe storms. Now, it will not be for this morning. So what we are looking at for this morning is you put the kids on the bus, temperatures in the 50s, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Realistically, we should be clearing by the time we get towards 11. As we get into the afternoon, and probably about the time that we start to pick kids up, that's where we need to start being very weather aware. So 3-4 p.m., the showers and thunderstorms will kickstart out to the west and start to move into the area. As they do, the biggest threat is going to be for some strong gusty winds and damaging winds at that. In terms of the risk of hail or tornado, I think these are both low-end risks as well as flooding. Now, I'm not going to rule out some ponding on the roads based on what we have this morning. And if we do get a torrential downpour, that can make it very much so those low-lying areas. But by and large, your biggest threat for today is going to be damaging wind gusts during the about 3 to 7 p.m. hour time period. That is where there will likely be some storms in and around the area, and we will continue to keep you updated on those storms as they start to move in. Again, that's why we've issued a code red for today. Meanwhile, the traffic situation this morning has been, well, fairly quiet. We do have one incident right now at Alexander, but we're not looking at anything on 75, 675, 70, 35, or 4 during this morning. Now, it is worth pointing out, if you want to do something this morning, one of the things that I always suggest to people is start making a plan. Okay, we have to pick up the kids up 3-4 p.m. Maybe today we're not going to do anything from 5 or 6. We're going to have dinner ready to go. Let's also start checking batteries and flashlights. Let's start checking the fact that if we have a weather radio, also make sure that we have a spot where it's safe. These are all things that you could do now. Obviously, it's January. It's not a surefire thing we're going to get severe weather, but this is a good checklist for later in the year, May, March, or whenever, when we do start talking about consistent severe weather threats.
I'll tell you though, and you know this, doing this for a long time, I'll tell you, the Miami Valley never ceases to surprise me. Mm-hmm. So I think you're right, making sure everything is in line and check and in order, because you just never know when severe weather is going to, I hate strike. I hate that word. No, you just never know when it's going to happen, especially here. And it's like you said, it's not typically this warm in January.
Yep. Better be safe than sorry.
Amen to that, yes. Well, a wave of economic reports out Wednesday present a mixed picture for the economy. Inflation continues to drop, but consumers are pulling back their spending.
Dayton 24/7 Now's national correspondent Atra El-Nashar has a look at how this is shaping what the rest of the year could look like for the U.S. economy.
New retail sales data shows the toll of inflation is chipping away at the resilience of American consumers.
See you again soon.
According to the Commerce Department, overall sales in December grew 6% from the year prior. On the surface, that may seem strong. However,
these reports are not indexed for inflation. So even a 6% gain sounds pretty good, but not if inflation's running at 6.5.
Bankrate's Ted Rossman says the data paints a picture of a nervous consumer.
I think people will continue to be very choosy about how and where and how much they spend.
Meanwhile, a sigh of relief for businesses. The rise in wholesale prices slowing down for the 6th month in a row. Producer price inflation now sits at 6.2%, down from its peak of 11.7% in March. It beat Wall Street's expectations and builds on the positive momentum of last week's news that consumer price inflation also fell for a 6th month straight.
Progress also showing up in the housing sector. For the first time in more than a year, confidence among builders improved this month, according to the National Association of Home Builders, driven by a drop in mortgage rates.
That boost in sentiment could result in more home construction and eventually lower home prices. The housing sector being the most sensitive to interest rate hikes from the Federal Reserve, hanging on every word of Fed officials like James Bullard.
I'm very hopeful for 2023, but we're not really there yet.
Bullard says GDP growth and the strong labor market make it more likely inflation can return to normal levels without crashing the economy.
And it's pushing off recession forecasting way into the second half of 2023, and now it's not all that clear that that will even materialize.
Too soon to tell how this period of high inflation will end and how long businesses and consumers can keep up. In Washington, I'm Atra Al-Nashar reporting.
5-7, oh my goodness, I can't talk. 5:17, there we go, is our time right now. Boy or girl, maybe the first ever rhino reveal party. I mean, I'm here for it. Just ahead, the zoo's celebrating why researchers are excited around the world.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Today we're discussing one of the most important parts of your home. Well, it's not the most glamorous. If it's not taken care of, your home could have major damage. Any guesses? We're talking roofs, and most importantly, signs that it might be time to replace yours. To start, you're going to want to do an interior check by going up in the attic with a flashlight to look for stains, streaks, and beams of light. I'd also look for water damage in areas that might be sagging. Seeing issues on the interior can help locate the problem on the outside. Next, on the exterior, keep an eye on the shingles, look for patches with cracks, buckling, or damage. While these are just initial indicators, there are many other signs to look out for. Need a hand? We have pros here to help.
At Expert Roofing, we can spot a leak a mile away, but we'd rather do it up on your roof. With a free roof assessment from Expert Roofing, we can identify trouble areas and pinpoint any leaks. So contact Expert Roofing for a free roof assessment. One call today can
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Look, despite the fact that we do have some strong to severe storms on their way, and we do need to be cognizant of that, we could still have some fun this morning. And today's pet of the day is Tippy. Doing the best version of an upside down dog. Tippy sent in by Lindsay. So thank you to her for sending it in. She sent this very nice note as well. Now, for 10 a.m. through 2 p.m., I think we're going to be pretty good. I think the only concern is the fact that we do have so much wet weather already happened, meaning we have plenty of wet ground, you're going to have muddy paws, but in general, there's not going to be any type of heavy-duty weather. Note the icon at 2 p.m. I think the storms, if there are going to be any, are outside of our area. Starting 4 to 6 p.m., I've gone ahead and put reds. This is an area where not only do you not want to start planning on taking dogs on a walk, you really start want to being in an area where you can get to shelter if you do have to, because we are looking at the threat of strong to severe storms with damaging wind gusts, the possibility. That's why we've gone ahead and gone code red for today. Meanwhile, the roads have been fairly quiet this morning. No major issues, 675, 70, or 75.
Today's number of the day takes a look at regulations for federal projects. A Scott Rasmussen national survey finds 63% of voters believe if a company provides documentation to the government that has met all regulatory requirements, the company should be allowed to proceed. The survey also says 20% think government officials should have the right to delay projects by requesting further information. 31% think regulations for infrastructure and development projects are too strict, and 24% say they are too lenient, and 16% say they're about right.
Moderna says its RSV vaccine is 84% effective in preventing disease in older adults. It just released the results of its clinical trial this morning. The RSV vaccine was effective at preventing lower respiratory tract disease, defined as 2 or more symptoms in people ages 60 and older. RSV infections kill between 6,000 and 10,000 older adults every year and result in 60,000 to 120,000 hospitalizations, according to the CDC. Well, the percentage of Americans who postpone medical care payments due to the cost has grown in the past year, according to a Gallup poll. The poll found that 38% of respondents said they have put off scheduled medical care payments due to costs. That's a 12% increase from the past 2 years. And are you seeking a healthier lifestyle this year? Well, you may want to find your passport and head to Japan. International responders surveyed by Noom and conducted by one poll found 15% believe Japan to be the healthiest nation. Also, majority of respondents reported wanting government support in caring for their health, like government interventions to improving access to mental health care, making medications more affordable, and banning artificial preservatives. From the NASDAQ market site, I'm Jane King. Here's your health.
All right, well, the Kansas City Zoo held a gender reveal party for one of its newborns, and now you can help name that newborn. The zoo welcomed a baby rhino back in December. And then on Sunday, the calf's father was given a ball to open and reveal. And I'm trying to talk to the video here. And
I'm afraid it just shows a rhino butt.
Okay.
Well, that's
Well,
all. There you go.
there we go. He's getting into it. He's getting into it. What do we got? What do we got? Boy or girl? Boy or girl?
What's it gonna be?
Come on, baby daddy.
Pink.
Pink. It is pink. A baby girl. The rhino family are eastern black rhinoceros, which are critically endangered. Oh, look how cute. The zoo reports only about 740 of them actually still live in the wild today. If you'd like to help name the baby rhino, you can do that. Head to the Kansas City Zoo's website for more information on how to vote. So, if you had to name the baby rhino, what would you name her?
Ronnie. Ronnie the rhino.
The silence here was deafening.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I like, what
That's
about
new.
Ryan? And like R-I-A-N? Like, I loved Ryan. My husband's name is Ryan, but I loved Ryan as a girl's name. I thought it was really cute. Ryan the rhino.
What's wrong with Ronnie?
I don't like Ronnie.
Ronnie!
That's stupid.
No, what is it, a Jersey Shore cast member? No,
yeah.
Like, that's so wrong.
Well, it does have the spikes, like, Pauly D with his hair, so.
And it's like tanked like this, so
That
I
is
guess,
true.
I mean, you would know, Mr. Jersey. The interesting thing, though, is the rhino's reaction was similar to most dads when they get the pink.
Oh, we're doomed.
Thanks
Oh,
for
we're
that.
out. Bye.
I know.
Oh, man. Good luck, Rhino.
Yeah.
Our time right now is 5:26. Still to come, Dayton police trying to put a stop to street racing, what they're asking for from the commissioners, and how they plan to stop dangerous driving.
In today's Tech Bites, TikTok is doing more to identify state-run media. The social media site is labeling content from Russian-controlled outlets during the war in Ukraine. Now material from outlets in other countries will have labels as well. Apple has launched the second generation of its HomePod smart speaker. It allows users to check their home temperature and humidity and get alerts when a smoke or carbon monoxide detector goes off. Price tag, $299. And finally, YouTube TV is getting a new live guide and library. The updated live guide includes a row of recommendations at the top and a condensed grid that displays more channels. The library has improved filters and organizing tools, so your favorite content is even easier to find. Now, I wanted to try this out, but I think my controller was broken. It wasn't showing me anything I was remotely interested in. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
Explore more of America with American Cruise Lines. Our award-winning fleet of small ships offers an authentic and personalized experience that you won't find anywhere else, with exclusive access to the most historic places along the legendary Mississippi River. Visit AmericanCruiseLines.com or call for your free cruise guide today. Small ship cruising, done perfectly.
How do I do it all? With a little help. And to support my family's immune health, I choose Airborne. Unlike some others, Airborne gives you vitamin C and so much more. It's an 8-in-1 immune support formula. Airborne, do more.
Alice loves the scent of Gain so much, she wished there was a way to make it last longer. Say hello to your fairy godmother, Alice, and long-lasting Gain scent beads. Try Gain Odor Defense, Be Gone.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red weather alert.
We begin this morning with a live look all over the Miami Valley this morning. Here's a live look from the Gem City at this hour as we prepare for a possible severe weather day.
Dayton 24/7 Now's Claire Faith is standing by in Dayton where rain and winds are picking up. And meteorologist Nick Maruziak kicking off our team coverage this morning with the very latest. Nick?
Yeah, we are looking at a day where we've gone ahead and issued a code red. The rain itself finally starting to move out. It took a long while, but we are starting to see a few residual showers lining up out to the west. Meanwhile, as you look further out to the west, we've actually got clearing sky across the area. This is a day where we do expect it to be pretty quiet early on and clearing out. So putting kids on a bus, no issues whatsoever. That's going to be a fine time period. The biggest concern is as we get into the afternoon and evening. So right about the time, perhaps as soon as we get the kids off the bus, but certainly for the time that we're thinking about dinner. We also need to be thinking about being weather aware. The biggest threat is going to be for strong and even damaging wind gusts. We could be looking at 40 and 50 mile per hour gusts, even if we don't see a whole lot of storms. And then you put the storms on top of them. Again, severe weather winds are possible. I can't rule out a hail or tornado, large hail or tornadoes. As for the flooding risk, that's going to be mainly confined because we have seen so much rain early on. It's more of, let's say, the minor street flooding or just ponding on the roads. It is a wet morning commute. Keep that in mind. And right now, again, we're not expecting any severe weather this morning, but based on all the wet weather that has fallen, there's probably going to be some puddles here and there.
And Clara, Faith continues our team coverage this morning from Dayton, where that rain, and actually, Clara, it looks like that rain is starting to clear up a little bit out there.
Yes, it's definitely clearing up, but it's still chilly outside. And as you can see, the roads are still pretty wet. We did have some cars driving by. You can see them kind of slowing down today, not rushing at all, but like I said, the roads are pretty wet, so you want to take your time on the highways and byways because baby, it is chilly and wet outside. Now back to you guys in studio.
To stay up to date with the latest weather developments throughout the entire day, be sure to check out Dayton 24/7 Now's app. Just scan that QR code you see right there on your screen. You can use it. Also find it for free on your device's app store.
The final Pike County massacre trial is now on hold. Prosecutors charged this man, Billy Wagner, with aggravated murder and other crimes. Investigators say he was involved in 2016 killings of 8 members of the Roden and Gilly families. The current judge, Randy Deering, is retiring next month. He's refusing to rule on any major motions still being decided in the case. Now Wagner's attorneys are asking to move the location of the trial. They're citing the publicity surrounding his son George's case last year. If that's granted, the state Supreme Court would need to pick a new venue. A judge sentenced Billy's son, George, last month to 8 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. Billy's youngest son, Jake, and his wife, Angela, both pleaded guilty to helping plan or commit the murders back in 2021.
And this morning, Xenia police are asking for your help to find this teen after a shooting on Monday. Witnesses say 16-year-old Sean Strickland pulled out a gun and started shooting after an argument. The shooting injured 2 people. He's now facing several charges, including attempted murder. And of course, this morning, if you know where he might be, call the Greene County Central Communications Office right away. That number is right there on your screen. You want to go ahead and call that 937-372-9901.
Dayton police want to crack down on reckless driving or hooning. DPD held a city commission meeting last night to ask commissioners to prioritize this problem. Police say they're seeing a significant increase in street racing and dangerous driving. They say a large number of those cars are stolen.
And this morning, Kettering police are reporting a rise in vehicle thefts. In fact, they actually just posted this crime map to Facebook. Police say areas around Galewood, Vale, and Prentice are seeing the biggest increase. And if you see or know anything about these thefts, you are urged to call Kettering Police. That number is right there at the bottom of your screen, 937-296-2555.
Huber Heights police now looking for a bank robbery suspect. It happened yesterday at the Key Bank on Chambersburg Road. Police say a man in all black clothes and a black mask demanded cash from the tellers, then fled before officers arrived. Fortunately, no one was hurt.
This afternoon, teachers and other educators are invited to an open house event at the Boonshoft Museum of Discovery. Check it out. It's to showcase the services and resources the museum offers and to promote their local community partners. They're also previewing upcoming teacher workshops. Snacks and drinks will be provided. It's from 3 to 6 p.m. They say it's a great way to help teachers make more engaging lessons for students. And now to our other top story this morning. The East End Family Service and Wellness Center is making some big changes for the new year.
Clara Faith joins us live from Dayton, sharing the impact it'll have across the Miami Valley. Clara.
This building you see behind me will look different. The $100 million gifted from Congressman Mike Turner will be used to help East End Family Services and Wellness Center remodel and expands its services. The executive director explains why more space is so needed in the community.
For the last couple of years, East End has been working to raise money to expand our facility. We're in a small, very cramped facility that is pretty old and doesn't accommodate our families very well at all.
The expansion is scheduled to happen spring of this year, and it will be happening next door from the current building. Reporting live in Dayton, Clara Faith, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Our time right now, 5:37. Don't forget, of course, your headlines are scrolling at the bottom of your screen. I wish you could have just seen Nathan right now because he was like, oh.
Yeah, and I slide myself in. It's a power move, right?
If that's what you want to call it, you keep telling yourself
I have stories
that.
I tell myself in my brain.
I know.
Anyways, your weather,
I know. You convince yourself quite well,
Your weather's
too.
on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
Well, are you always on your phone? New year, maybe a new plan, and stretching your dollar. Make It Work has some cellular.
Drink more of that coffee. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red weather alert.
Good morning. Here's what we're looking at. During the latter stages of the morning hours through the early part of the afternoon, it's likely for us to clear out. Temperatures will already be quite warm for this time of year, but you add on a sunshine, we are talking about the potential for temperatures to hit 60 degrees. Now, here we go at 3 p.m. This is where storms are going to be firing out to the west. They will start to arrive in our area around 5 p.m. Possibly, I would say exiting stage right as soon as 6 or 7. But in general, we are expecting there potential to be some heavy, strong, gusty, whatever you want to call it, winds. And on top of that, within the storms themselves, there could be damaging wind gusts. Well, I can't completely rule out an isolated spin up or also some hail. I just don't see this being a scenario where we're dealing with a widespread tornado or hail outbreak. To me, this is very much so a smaller end style system, meaning a smaller chance. Storm Prediction Center has put us into the 1s and 2s. Again, once you get in 3, 4s, and 5s, that's where it's likely for a outbreak of severe weather. 1s and 2s, you're going to need a little bit to go right. And I think that we will see conditions at best conditional for us to see some strong to severe storms.
Well, monthly bills, of course, can add up quickly, especially when you throw in cell phones.
Megan O'Rourke is here now with ways to stretch your dollar when it comes to your wireless carrier.
Good morning, guys. Get this. The average American spent the equivalent of 44 days scrolling or talking on their cell phone last year. That's according to a survey that was done by reviews.org. So bottom line is, it is unlikely that your phone is something you can live without at this point, no matter how much it costs. But how can you be sure that you're not unnecessarily spending money? The experts at the AARP suggest ditching unlimited data, especially if you're someone who spends a lot of time at home or at places that offer free Wi-Fi. You can also switch to auto pay. Not only will that help make sure that your bills are paid on time and avoid late fees, but a lot of companies, including Verizon and AT&T, actually offer discounts for doing so. Also, consider downsizing. If you have to replace your phone, look at the mini versions. The smaller screen often translates to a smaller price tag, even for iPhones. And finally, pass on phone insurance. Most experts say behind all those hidden clauses, like what kind of phone they would replace your existing device with, is really not a great value when all is said and done. Guys, back to you.
Of course, we want to know how you're stretching your dollar. Grab your phone and scan that QR code.
And chime in a picture or video and share your money-saving tips. You may see them featured right here on Dayton 24/7 Now.
5:44 is our time. Man, that double espresso is really kicking in right now.
Lord help us.
The defending AFC champs coming in as the underdog. Cincinnati preparing for the divisional round. Just ahead, we're going to preview Bengals-Bills.
We need to get you announcing UFC matchups.
Whoop, whoop.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
live on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Well, the NCAA wants a federal appeals court to stop a lawsuit that would make colleges pay student athletes. Now, the Division I athletes and others who filed the suit say they should get paid hourly for their time, like with work-study programs. Reps with the organization say the change would force coaches to become their players' bosses and could have catastrophic impact on college sports. There is a court date on the case set for next month.
Taking a live look now at the Cincinnati Bengals Twitter page, where wide receiver T. Higgins got a surprise from his teammates yesterday. Since he's celebrating T's birthday with balloons, cake, and of course, sweet tea. And the Bengals preparing to head to Buffalo for the divisional round matchup. Cincy coming in as a 5-point underdog. Joe Burrow told media members Wednesday he never feels like the underdog after making it to the Super Bowl last season. The Bengals still feel they're the team to beat in the AFC. Bengals and Bills kick off Sunday at 3 in Buffalo.
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red weather alert.
Good morning. We have gone code red for the fact that we do expect there to be at least a decent chance of damaging wind gusts, isolated tornadoes, and perhaps even some large hail. Now, 2 and 3 are very much a lower end threat, but we are looking at, again, the potential for some strong to severe storms. Now, in terms of location, the best chance would be Dayton and north. So we're talking about Miami County, Bellefontaine, Urbana, Springfield. Not to say that we can't see any in Oxford. Now, this can shift, and I do expect at least some refinement in the forecast as we get into the afternoon. We start to get some of the other models in, some of the more short-term models. But in general, I'd expect an afternoon, evening where there are going to be some chances of storms. So the outdoor forecast for today, thunderstorms here in January, not exactly what you would think of, but look at how far we drop overnight into the 30s. It will be mostly cloudy, some showers possible, perhaps even some flurries are possible for tomorrow. We are going to see temperatures in the upper 30s and 40s. I'd say that seems a lot more like it, but of course it's 30s and 40s. I'm never hyped for 30s and 40s, unless of course it's in the teens. But you get the drift. It's turning colder and more seasonable. So today, again, a windy day, a day where we could be looking at strong to severe storms. And again, the potential is there for there to be some damaging winds, perhaps maybe an isolated tornado or hail, especially if these storms really get fired up. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, no issues. 675, 70, 35, or 4.
Our time right now is 5:49. I love this story. Popcorn party, caramel, cheddar cheese, kettle, or all the above. In minutes, we celebrate the movie snack
You
favorite.
gonna go make me some?
Nope.
Because that's all I care about. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
In this morning's GMA First Look, new details on what investigators found in the apartment of accused Idaho murderer Brian Kohberger. Unsealed court documents showing that on December 30th, investigators seized stained bedding, including a pillow with a reddish-brown mark, possible strands of hair, a dust container from a vacuum, a black glove, receipts from Walmart and Marshall's, a computer tower, a Fire TV stick, and a possible animal hair strand, but no weapon during their raid.
Please be seated.
Kohberger charged with 4 counts of murder for the deaths of Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. On November 13th, has not entered a plea. In the affidavit for his arrest, police say they found DNA that tied him to the crime scene. And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll talk live with former FBI agent Brad Garrett. With your GMA First Look, I'm Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
There's nothing like volunteering at the fire department.
There's nothing like hitting the waves.
But with my moderate to severe eczema, it hasn't always been easy.
Since my skin was so irritated and itchy.
And even worse with all my gear on.
Now, I'm staying ahead of my eczema.
There's a power inside all of us to live our passion. And Dupixent works on the inside to help heal your skin from within. It helps block a key source of inflammation inside the body that can cause eczema. So adults can have long-lasting, clearer skin and fast itch relief. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor.
Healing from within is a powerful thing.
Ask your eczema specialist how Dupixent can help heal.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Well, welcome to the weather patio, where this morning it's interesting because I was fully expecting to come out here and, well, let me rephrase that. I was fully expecting yesterday to come out here and have showers and heavy rain. That being said, right for now, we are seeing the rain move out of the area, so that's good news. This morning, it's fairly quiet outside. I would say there's still going to be plenty of puddles. I'm just looking at our patio, actually, and there are plenty of puddles. Now, a lot of the showers have moved out. What we're really expecting today is gradual clearing, and the only question mark is how much clearing do we get, and then how warm can we get? I think 60 degrees is certainly a possibility, which for January is pretty rare in the sense that you don't expect a whole lot of 60-degree days. That being said, that 60-degree temperature is going to be fuel for the fire. If you want to think of it that way, it's a good analogy, because if we don't see a whole lot of fuel, these storms can't get going. With the sunshine, I think there's a good chance. That's why we've gone code red. It's a conditional threat for severe weather today, but there is a threat, and I think the bigger threat is north and east of Dayton area. So if you are in those areas, you need to stay weather aware, especially during the afternoon and evening.
The world's oldest known person has passed away at a nursing home in southern France at the age of 118. Now, this was Lucille Randon, also known as Nun's sister Andre. She was born on February 11th of 1904 and passed away Tuesday. During World War II, she looked after children and also spent 28 years caring for orphans and the elderly at a hospital. According to the Guinness World Records, Sister Andre was also the oldest nun and oldest COVID-19 survivor. There's been no official announcement yet on who will be named the next oldest person in the world.
Well, Dolly Parton is cooking up something new. She's partnered with Duncan Hines to make some fun new baking mixes. It includes 2 brownie flavors, caramel turtle and fabulously fudgy, plus a buttermilk biscuit and sweet cornbread mix. These add to her line of cake mixes, which already debuted last year. Parton says she's excited because baking is steeped in her southern roots. The new baking mixes will cost less than $4, and they're going to hit store shelves in just a few weeks.
What's poppin'? The answer is all things popcorn. You hear that? That's at least trying to be popcorn. Not really. Kettle corn in all flavors, because today is National Popcorn Day. Americans lead the world in popcorn consumption to the tune of 13 billion quarts a year. The crunchy snack has been around at least since the 16th century when the Aztecs used it in headdresses for fertility ceremonies. What? To celebrate National Popcorn Day, you could pop some at home and share a bowl with a friend or family member.
I am never going to eat popcorn again now. Thanks for that info.
Or you can head to one of many theaters offering free or discounted popcorn in honor of National Popcorn Day.
What did you just read?
I literally have a bag of popcorn every morning, and I will now cut that out.
You didn't know that that was like prepping for a third child?
No, and if I did, I would have cut it out a long time ago.
She is now anti-popcorn.
I am anti anything that will get me pregnant.
Popcorn's pro-fertility, I guess.
I'm not having a third baby.
No.
I don't think you could survive it.
Oh, God, no.
No, he'd look at me
I don't
and be
think the
like,
viewers could survive it.
Well, at least pregnancies are something.
What does that mean?
That
I
means
was not that dramatic.
you're dramatic on a normal day.
You weren't even here. You didn't exist yet. You can't put your
I existed, but barely. We'll tell you a lot more coming up on ABC 22 in the morning at 6 a.m.
East End Family Services has big bucks coming to them. Well, I'll explain how this is going to impact the community.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red Weather Alert.
As you heard, we begin with a live look this morning over the Miami Valley where you can see some raindrops on the, Nick, I think you're spying on it. So sorry. All I saw was his Gatorade bottle and I didn't understand what was happening. Yeah, so we're looking at some weather issues this morning.
Let's check in with meteorologist Nick Maruziak. And Nick, what do we have in store for the rest of the day?
Well, we are looking at the potential for some wet weather across the area, damaging wind gusts and the threat of an isolated tornado. Could be some large hail as well. Now, in terms of timing, this for the afternoon and evening across the area. Again, we are looking at the potential for damaging wind gusts. That's your primary threat. We are going to be looking at temperatures today into the upper 60s. And again, the storms moving in late. In terms of timing, this is the area. And note that colder air moving in. It is a very strong cold front. And because of that, we are going to be looking at the potential for not just a little bit of wind, but again, winds 40, 50, 60-mile-per-hour gusts are possible, including the potential for, again, type of winds that can maybe knock over lawn furniture, move lawn furniture, knock over garbage cans, or perhaps even cause damage to houses. So something that we will have to keep in mind. That is why we issued a code red. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, 70, 75, and 675, all looking good.
Our other top story this morning, Butler Township Police providing new body camera footage of this controversial arrest. Now, we have been showing this video to you for the past 2 days, but we are now seeing the officer's point of view and learning what led up to the moment he struck a woman multiple times. Our Mamie Baugh spoke with local law enforcement and the woman at the center of the controversy.
We know this all started over a piece of cheese inside this McDonald's behind me. Now, officers came to the scene after they were called by an employee inside saying that Ms. Hancock was trespassing. Now, when officers arrived, they did listen to her side of the story. After that, they did ask her for her first and last name so they can create a trespass notice. However, Ms. Hancock refused. And of course, as you see here, things did escalate between the two. Now, I did speak with her, and this is what she had to say about the whole encounter.
I almost lost my life behind it. The reason why I said, I'm going to be quiet now. I'm going to stand up. I'm not going to be George Floyd. They're not going to get me on the ground. They're not going to attack me.
We do know that officers Todd Stanley and Tim Zellers are the officers you see in this video. Now, we do know that Stanley, the officer that punched Hancock, is on administrative leave at this time. The police chief tells me it's because of the public outcry. Now, I did also talk to him about why the department is investigating itself in this situation, and this is what he had to say.
With the degree of this, don't you think it's important for there to be an impartial party that comes in and looks into the conduct of your officers?
Well, that depends. I mean, so when we're looking at the degree of what we're talking about, are we talking about the video that we saw, or are we talking about what the degree of the officer's response was?
You know, that video got a lot of views all over social media. Now, another thing to note in this situation is that Attorney Michael Wright, along with Hancock and the Dayton NAACP, said that they want accountability. They want the officers in this situation to be fired, and they want an independent investigation. Now, we'll continue to follow this story for you, and as we learn more, we'll bring you the very latest. Back to you.
Dayton Public Schools is searching for a new superintendent. Dr. Elizabeth Lawley will not renew her contract. She's expressed her love for the district and the students of Dayton. Now, the state recently named Lawley Superintendent of the Year. She said she's not retiring and will stay in education, but did not give specifics.
Now, the state is spending more money to help early childhood care and education. The Ohio Department of Job and Family Services is getting $48 million over the next 3 years. Governor Mike DeWine, I should say, says, quote, this grant allows Ohio to better serve these children by creating stronger cross-program coordination and higher quality programming. In publicly funded childcare, public preschools, early intervention, and home visiting that form a strong foundation for successful learning.
A live look now at Richmond, Indiana Police Department's Facebook page. Right now, the state's legislature is looking for a way to honor fallen officer Sierra Burton. Now, Burton died in the line of duty 4 months ago. The Indiana legislature just introduced a resolution renaming US 27 to I-70 and I-70, excuse me. A House committee passed it unanimously and now heads to the Indiana Senate.
And right now, big news for the East End Family Service and Wellness Center. The organization is now expanding its services for families here in the Miami Valley.
We're heading back out to Clara Faith to explain the changes that are coming.
The East End Family Services and Wellness Center mission is to educate and help people during difficult times, and this group just got $1 million of federal funding. They say they plan to use that money to go towards expanding mental health services and programs for family planning and youth.
We have a middle school program which we want to expand, and then our youth program we're gearing toward not only keeping our teenagers in school to complete high school, but also give them some early career experience.
And Clara, of course, when does the East End actually plan on launching these new programs?
I'm told that the expansion will come this spring of this year, and in just a few hours, Congressman Mike Turner and former Governor Bob Taft will be here, and they will be sharing more details on the expansion later on today. Now back to you guys in studio.
Our time right now, 6:06. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
Your weather, of course, on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
The viral interview that got America talking about Social Security. I'm Angela Brown in Washington, D.C. How much benefits could drop if Congress does not act.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red Weather Alert.
Good morning. We are dealing with not only gusty winds this morning, but also we have dealt with at least some rainfall. The winds, the gust right now around 30 miles per hour. It is breezy out there. We haven't seen as much rain, but still a couple of residual showers down around Wilmington. Now, we did get a lot of rain overnight, so there is plenty of wet roads for this morning. Keep that in mind as you plan your morning commute. But look at what's out to the west. Not a whole lot. As this low continues to circulate through the area, there will be a lobe of energy that moves its way in, and thus we're going to be dealing with a threat of severe weather. Not in time for the morning. Morning should be okay. Again, just want to give yourself a little bit of extra time because of the wet roads. It's the afternoon that has the greatest concern. The biggest concern overall when you put together severe weather risk is going to be for wind. I don't think it's a surefire thing by any stretch of the imagination that we're going to see widespread wind damage up and down the Miami Valley. Instead, what we're looking at is very much so conditional conditions. That being said, if we are going to see any weather or severe weather, I can't completely rule out hail or tornadoes. The flood risk, again, mainly just due to the fact that we have seen so much rain. But if you are planning your afternoon and evening, stay weather aware, and from 3 to 7 p.m., have indoor plans handy because, again, we are looking at the potential of strong to severe storms. Damaging winds, your primary threat. As for this morning, the wet roads haven't led to a lot of issues on the morning, but if you are traveling, again, bus stops, areas like that, you want to give yourself some extra time. If you're planning out your afternoon and evening, I'm not saying cancel your plans right now, but indoor plans, good idea. And make sure that you do have batteries in your weather radio. Make sure that you have a way to be able to talk to people. I always tell people, in a case of severe weather, texting is the best way because it uses less energy and allows more people to bounce things off the cell phone towers. These are all little tips, and I know this isn't typical severe weather season, but we're 5-6 months away. It's a good way to prepare for when we do expect there to be multiple events, or even the type of event where it is a sure thing that we will see severe weather.
Well, you never know. I mean, here in the Miami Valley, just 2-3 years ago, I think we had that tornado up in Miami County in January, so it's not uncommon.
Yeah, and that's the point I want people to take away.
Best to be prepared.
Exactly. It's January. It still can happen. Got to be prepared.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Know your safe spot and download our app.
Yeah, there you go. Look at you pimping us out.
That's right. It's all about marketing.
Can I say pimp on air?
I don't know.
I think it just did.
I think I just did, didn't I?
Yeah.
Congratulations. Big pimping
indeed.
indeed.
That's an FCC regulation or not?
Yeah, pimp's not a bad word. Our time right now, 6:12. So to come,
we'll find out.
The defending AFC champs coming in as the underdog. Cincinnati preparing for the divisional round. Just ahead, we preview Bengals, Bills.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Live on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Good morning. We do expect there to be a chance of severe weather. Now, first things first is we are tracking some clearing, and the reason why we need to see the clearing is you need some fuel for these fires. So storms do need some sort of let's say, instability built into the air. And I do think with the clearing, we will get there. Now, that being said, as we get into about 3 p.m., the clouds will start to filter in. Let's say we don't clear out all the way. Does that completely rule out any chances of storms? No, but it does reduce the chances considerably. So first things first is you need clearing. Second of all, we are going to get what we call shear. So the wind directions are going to be moving in each individual direction. And what that means for us is these storms will likely have some gusty winds. But if we do get these fired up, they go from gusty, meaning 30, 40, maybe 50 mile per hour gusts, to the potential for 50 and 60 mile per hour gusts. In terms of timing, mid-afternoon through the early evening would be the best time period. Can it be the type of storm that produces an isolated tornado? Yes. Would I expect to see a lot? Absolutely not. So again, a very much so conditional case for severe weather, but the type of event where damaging wind gusts are possible, and I can't completely rule out isolated hail or a isolated tornado or two. So again, this afternoon and evening, you want to stay weather aware across the area. And if you are traveling this morning, you just want to be aware that the roads are wet. Despite the fact that we do have some wet roads, we're not looking at we're not looking at any major issues in and around our area. Let's see what's going on in Columbus.
Good morning to you. So the biggest issue this morning is going to be the messy commute that you are about to face. If you're working your way towards Columbus, things are moving nicely right now, but the roadways are just soaking wet. So you can see things moving right along here, 70 eastbound at Hilliard-Rome Road. That's going to continue all the way in without any problems towards 270 and even towards downtown Columbus. In the metro area, we already have 2 issues on the roadways right now, which we usually don't see any until much further in the morning. So definitely just give yourself extra time. You will need that extra drive time once we get more people on the roadways, especially if you're going to be coming in towards downtown Columbus a little bit later. I'm Katie McKee with your Triple Team Traffic.
Well, this year's Social Security checks will see a massive increase to keep pace with the sky-high inflation.
Well, that's good news. Today's seniors, the future of Social Security is on shaky ground. Dayton 24/7 Now's National Desk, Angela Brown explains.
A viral interview.
Do you know that Social Security is going to be insolvent in 2035?
It is not going to be. That is not true. That is actually not true. No, it's actually not true.
Joy,
it's actually not true. Got America talking about the future of a program that impacts all of us. Social Security. Linda Stone, Senior Pension Fellow, the American Academy of Actuaries, a nonpartisan group.
So what's going to happen in 2035 is that essentially, in order to continue paying benefits are going to have to be cut 20%.
Social Security is paid through payroll taxes that you pay through your FICA tax on your paychecks. There is also a reserve trust fund, but Stone says that trust could be depleted by 2035, leaving just payroll taxes to fund Social Security.
The Social Security system is only going to be able to pay 80% of the benefits that it's paying to everybody. So if I was getting a check for $1,000 a month as a retiree, I'm only going to get a check for $800 a month.
Both parties making big promises to protect Social Security.
I promise you this, Social Security will be protected, period.
I want to make sure we preserve the benefits of Medicare and Social Security.
Going about it in different ways. The Republican Study Committee's plan includes raising the retirement age and reducing payroll taxes, allowing employees to invest in private retirement funds, including 401ks or the stock market. Democratic politicians introducing the Social Security Expansion Act, calling for adding more funding by applying the Social Security payroll tax on all income above $250,000. But instead of compromise, Congress sounds more like this.
The returns would have been better.
Okay, you're for it. You've said that you're for it.
That means that it would have been a better situation than what we've seen.
Making waves on social media overnight, a few words from Republican Representative Rick Allen posted on a Twitter account by a Social Security advocacy group. Allen was asked about raising the age for retirement. He responded by saying people come up to him and they actually want to work longer. In Washington, D.C., I'm Angela Brown.
Following this morning's Dayton Business Journal headlines, Now, a grab-and-go community food market in downtown Dayton will hold its grand opening tomorrow. District Market features a variety of foods from local business owners on a temporary leasing rotation that will help entrepreneurs grow and move toward their own storefronts. The marketplace has established 5 merchants with offerings ranging from soul food to egg rolls and cheesecake. Sounds delicious. The retail merchants are featured selling things like notebooks, kitchen accessories, and health and wellness products. Now, the marketplace will open at 2 p.m. on Wayne Avenue, beginning tomorrow. Read more about this story and others like it. Just head on over to Dayton247now.com, click on the news tab, and select Dayton Business Journal.
Taking a look now at the Cincinnati Bengals Twitter page, where wide receiver T. Higgins got a surprise from some of his teammates yesterday. Cincy celebrating T's birthday with balloons, cake, and of course, sweet tea. Now the Bengals preparing to head to Buffalo for their divisional round matchup. Cincy coming in as a 5-point underdog. Joe Burrow told media members Wednesday he never feels like the underdog after making it to the Super Bowl last season. The Bengals still feel like they're the team to beat in the AFC. Bengals and Bills kick off Sunday at 3. Coming up at 6:45, we check in with Chelsea Sick, who is live from Buffalo.
Our time right now is 6:22. Baking 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Working from 9 to 5. Okay. Just ahead, Dolly Parton's in the kitchen, the star's new treat, and the team she's baking with.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Just because we are dealing with the threat of strong to severe storms doesn't mean that we're going to skip pet of the day. This is Tippy, sent in by Lindsay. Tippy, silly girl, I think is fair to say. But I will say this, it does bring up an important point, which is starting about 2 p.m., you want to be more cognizant of your pets. So let's say that you have a dog with anxiety. Maybe start to think about medication. Or perhaps if you have a dog that likes to be indoor, outdoor, this may be a time where you start to pull them inside, because by the time we get towards 4 and 6 p.m., that's where we do expect there to be the best chance of strong to severe storms across the area. And the last thing you really want to do is have a dog decide to go running away in the middle of that. Now, before that is your time period to get outside and walk the dog. So 10, 12. Look at temperatures in the 50s. The only downside to this time period is it may be just a touch on the breezy side, dare I say even maybe a little bit on the windy side. But again, 4 to 6 p.m., that is the time period where we do have the greatest concern of those strong to severe storms. And even if we don't see a whole lot of storms, I do think it's going to be quite windy outside, so keep that in mind. Better day is going to be early on. Meanwhile, early on this morning, haven't seen any issues. 70, 75, 675, 35, or 4.
Well, get ready because Dolly Parton is cooking up something new. She's partnered with Duncan Hines to find some fun new baking mixes. It includes 2 brownie flavors, which is caramel turtle and fabulously fudgy, plus a buttermilk biscuit and sweet cornbread mix, of course. These add to her line of cake mixes, which already debuted last year. Dolly says that she's excited because baking is steeped in her southern roots. The new baking mixes will cost less than $4, and they're going to hit store shelves in just a few weeks.
I bet those biscuits are bomb.
I bet the cornbread, but also like the brownies sound really good. Fabulously fudgy.
Well, Southern Belle, I mean, like, bring it.
Yeah.
I know,
Let's
right?
go.
Yeah, I am not in any way.
I'm just thinking of, like, you know when you get those celebrity branded things and sometimes they're just terrible or sound horrible? Those actually sound really good. I would love to try them against other celebrity style stuff and see which celebrity rules them all in the kitchen.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'll take Dolly Parton for the win. She seems like, you know.
She can duke it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like she's just like successful at anything she touches. So, I mean, it's a win.
I wish she would just like touch me, make me successful. Need a lot more than that.
We're going to stop right there. 6:27 is our time right now. Still to come.
That was a weird.
The East in Family Services has big changes coming for the new year. We'll explain when we come back.
I don't even know what just happened.
Here's Genevieve Gordon with America Steals a Deal.
The following segment is sponsored by Knocking.
You guys, what are 2 things you lose the most? It's your keys and it's your phone. And it's so frustrating. I know this because I spend hours every day looking for these items. So listen up. You don't want to miss this buy one, get one exclusive deal on the Key Smart Pro. Now, the Key Smart Pro organizes up to 14 keys in one little device. Literally every guy on the set has one in his pocket right now. And as we were setting up this display, people were actually trying to take them. So my advice is buy this now for everyone you love because they're not going to last. It takes all those keys in the drawer, the bottom of your purse, and puts them right into one little thing, and it connects to a free app. So if you lose your keys, you press the button on the app. You lose your phone, you press the button on the keychain. Even if your phone is on silent, you can find it. It's a win-win. They find each other, guys. You know how many hours this saves us? For me, like probably 6. 6 hours a day. I bet you have someone in your life that needs one of these. My family literally impersonates me by putting on a pair of sunglasses and saying, "Where's my phone? Where's my keys?" And now with this buy one, get one free deal, it's the perfect time to get one for you, someone you love, in all of these great colors. Remember, this is a buy one, get one free. Do not wait. Go to asadeals.com.
live on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
This is a Dayton 24/7 now Code Red weather alert.
We begin this morning with that Code Red weather alert, but also a live look over the Gem City at this hour. Some raindrops on that ODOT camera.
Let's check in with meteorologist Nick Maruziak with more on what we can expect later today. Nick.
Yeah, today, one of those days where you look at the weather and you go, okay, we're going to get some clearing skies. It's the relative calm before the storm, but it's also going to be the fuel for the fire. So right for now, the showers have, for the most part, ended. Just maybe a stray sprinkle or two. The rain, again, off to the east. Here's what's going on to the west. We aren't dealing with any type of heavy-duty weather in our near vicinity, but this will gradually begin to fill in as we get later into the day. For the morning hours, it's relatively quiet. We're really not expecting anything crazy. Later on, though, tonight, we are expecting there to be some strong to severe storms. And in terms of timing, the timing seems to be from about 3 p.m. out to the west to about 7 p.m., mainly across the northern half of our area, but I wouldn't rule it out anywhere else. The winds are going to be a primary threat for severe weather impacts. I can't completely rule out a tornado or hail, and any type of floods would be more or less confined to the areas where there has been plenty of ponding water. Speaking of the ponding water, that hasn't affected the morning commute thus far, although, again, with things picking up here, you want to give yourself some extra time around the area.
And to stay up to date, of course, with the very latest weather developments throughout the day, be sure to check out our Dayton 24/7 Now app. Scan that QR code on your screen. You can also find it for free in your services app store as well. And if we want to take a look in Iowa, things looking much different out there. People digging out of the snow. This is video from Sioux City. A winter storm warning is in effect there until 9 o'clock this morning. Some parts of the Midwest are expected, oh my goodness, to get up to 17 inches of snow.
The final Pike County massacre trial is now on hold. Prosecutors charged this man, Billy Wagner, with aggravated murder and other crimes. Investigators say he was involved in the 2016 killings of 8 members of the Roden and Gilley families. Now, the current judge, Randy Deering, is retiring next month. He's refusing to rule on any major motions still being decided in the case. Now, Wagner's attorneys are asking to move the location of the trial. They're citing the publicity surrounding his son George's case last year. If that's granted, the state Supreme Court would need to pick a new venue. Now, a judge sentenced Billy's son George last month to 8 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. Billy's youngest son Jake and his wife Angela both pleaded guilty to helping plan or commit the murders back in 2021.
Right now, Xenia police asking for your help to find this teen you see right here behind me after a shooting on Monday. Now, witnesses say 16-year-old Sean Strickland pulled out a gun and started shooting after an argument. That shooting injured 2 people. He's now facing several charges, including attempted murder. If you know where he might be, they're asking you to call the Greene County Central Communications right away. That number is right there on your screen, 937-372-9901.
Dayton police want to crack down on reckless driving or hooning. Now, DPD held a city commission meeting last night to ask commissioners to prioritize this problem. Police say they're seeing a significant increase in street racing and dangerous driving. They say a large number of those cars are stolen.
Speaking of stolen cars, Kettering police are now reporting a rise in vehicle thefts. In fact, they posted this crime map that you see here behind me to Facebook. Police say areas around Galewood, Vale, and Prentice are seeing the biggest increase. You can see that here, actually, on that map. Now, if you know or see anything about these thefts, you're urged to call Kettering police. That number is right there at the bottom of your screen, 937-296-2555.
Huber Heights police right now looking for a bank robbery suspect. It happened yesterday at the Key Bank on Chambersburg Road. Police say a man in all black clothes and a black mask demanded cash from the tellers, then fled before officers arrived. No one was hurt.
Well, this afternoon, teachers and other educators are invited to an open house event at the Boonshoft Museum of Discovery. Here's the details. It's to showcase the services and resources, the museum offers and to promote their local community partners. They're also previewing upcoming teacher workshops as well. Snacks and drinks will be provided. Things kick off at 3 o'clock this afternoon and go until 6 o'clock tonight. They say it's a great way to help teachers make more engaging lessons for their students. And big news this morning, the East End Family Service and Wellness Center is making changes for the new year.
Clara Faith joins us live from Dayton, sharing the impact it'll have across the Miami Valley. Clara.
This building you see behind me will look completely different soon. The group is getting $1 million of federal funding. It helps East End Family Services and Wellness Center with some renovations and also expanding its services. The executive director explained why the community needs this extra space.
For the last couple of years, East End has been working to raise money to expand our facility. We're in a small, very cramped facility that is pretty old and doesn't accommodate our families very well at all.
Now, the expansion is scheduled for spring of this year, and the expansion will be happening next door from this building. Reporting live in Dayton, Clara Faith, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Our time right now is 6:38. Don't forget, of course, your headlines are scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
Well, are you always on your phone? New year and maybe a new plan and stretching your dollar? Megan O'Rourke has some tips for saving on your cell phone service.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Take a look at Keystone, Colorado. This photo snapped right before another round of snow hit the area. Now let's travel east to snowfall in Nebraska.
Hours ago,
You can see my pot.
A winter storm warning covered most of the state Wednesday afternoon. The snowfall was enough to make folks get out the tape measures and track the numbers.
Want to see your weather photos and videos on TV? Click Chime In on this station's website to share.
It's hard to believe that we are talking about snow in other parts of the country, and here we are talking about severe weather. By the way, the clock is January, not, let's say, March or maybe October, November, where you do get these style of weather where you get some spots with cold air and spots with warm air. Here we are in January. It's been a very warm January thus far, and that's why one of the reasons that we saw rain this morning. And did see a good bit of it, judging by our patio. Things are pretty sopping wet, but it's not the type of morning where it's really going to cause you major concerns. This is what we call more of a nuisance. Now, later on today, we do have the risk of severe weather. We have gone code red. Here's what we're tracking. The potential is there for strong gusty winds. Even if we don't see a whole lot of storms, strong gusty winds are possible. But then we start talking about into storms could produce damaging wind gusts. That's the next level up. That's where we start talking about mid 50 mile per hour gusts, 60 mile per hour gusts. That's going to be hugely problematic if we do start to see those storms fire. In addition, can't rule out a tornado or two or strong hail. So again, this afternoon, evening, be weather aware. This morning, be a little bit more cautious on the roads.
Monthly bills can add up quickly, especially when you throw in cell phones.
Megan O'Rourke is here now with some ways to stretch your dollar when it comes to wireless carriers.
Good morning, guys. Get this. The average American spent the equivalent of 44 days scrolling or talking on their cell phone last year. That's according to a survey that was done by reviews.org. So bottom line is, it is unlikely that your phone is something you can live without at this point, no matter how much it costs. But how can you be sure that you're not unnecessarily spending money? The experts at the AARP suggest ditching unlimited data, especially if you're someone who spends a lot of time at home or at places that offer free Wi-Fi. You can also switch to auto pay. Not only will that help make sure that your bills are paid on time and avoid late fees, but a lot of companies, including Verizon and AT&T, actually offer discounts for doing so. Also, consider downsizing. If you have to replace your phone, look at the mini versions. A smaller screen often translates to a smaller price tag, even for iPhones. And finally, pass on phone insurance. Most experts say behind all those hidden clauses, like what kind of phone they would replace your existing device with, is really not a great value when all is said and done. Guys, back to you.
We, of course, want to know how you're stretching your dollar. Grab your phone and scan that QR code.
Chime in a picture or video and share your money-saving tips. You may see them featured right here on Dayton 24/7 Now.
Our time right now, 6:45. And Buffalo Wings. Yeah. Just ahead, we're going to check in with Chelsea Sick this morning, who's going to be live from New York from a bar in Buffalo.
You're
who's
watching
up this early?
Yeah, lucky ducks. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now. The Cincinnati Bengals getting ready to take on the Buffalo Bills in a big playoff game this weekend.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Chelsea Sick with our Cincinnati sister station joining us live from Buffalo, New York ahead of that matchup. You might recognize her because she used to work here, right? Chelsea, you're checking out one of the places fans are going to be watching the game this Sunday. Chelsea, I was in Buffalo a couple years ago. How are those wings, girl?
In Buffalo are amazing. We have not been hungry since we stepped foot in Buffalo. We are saying we are on a food tour because we have just been all over the place eating as much as we can. So we're at Bar Bill right now. This is about 10 minutes from the stadium. They're known for their wings and their beef on wax sandwiches. And I'm here with Clark. You are the owner here. Fill us in on what we have in front of us.
I sure will. Hello, Dayton. Basically, what's unique about the Bar Bill is that we're the home of the painted wing. So what we do is we actually hand paint the sauce on each side of each wing. And the reason we do that is that we want each bite of each wing to be exactly the same. So whether this is your first time or your 100th or 1,000th time to Bar Bill, each and every wing is spectacular.
And what's amazing to me as a Midwesterner is that you don't want to order ranch in Buffalo. You just don't want to. This is all blue cheese, but Phyllis, I mean, it's pretty similar to the ranch texture.
In a lot of ways. The secret to Buffalo blue cheese, though, is that and we all do it homemade, and it makes a huge difference.
It's not super strong.
Yeah. So yes, if you're coming to Buffalo, things to note: we don't call wings Buffalo wings; they're just simply wings. And if you're going to order ranch, say it really quietly.
Yeah, really quietly. I tried to order ranch yesterday at a different place, and they were like, you need to try the blue cheese. Right. Just trust me, I do. I was impressed by it. I don't usually like blue cheese. So they expect the bar here to get pretty busy with Bengals fans starting on Friday. We have a pretty good relationship. We've been talking about Buffalo and Cincinnati because of Andy Dalton.
We love the Bengals here in Buffalo. The Boyd-Dalton connection is one of the greatest plays in Buffalo Bills history, and we didn't even make it. So yes, indeed, and certainly Bengals fans know the great care that our DeMar Hamlin had, and there'll be a bond between Buffalo and your area that can't be broken.
All right, we're getting a head start for you Bengals fans. We're gonna eat some wings here, so I'm gonna send it back to you, Elise and Nathan. But Hooday.
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red weather alert.
All right. Boy, I looked at that sandwich, and I know, look, I'm not a buffalo wing person. Just give me the big sandwich with all the meat. Like, that is where I live, and that's where I want to be. All right, temperatures today going to be in the 50s. We will get clearing skies. The question mark is how quickly can we clear out? I do think we're going to see the sunshine. That's going to add some fuel to the fire for these storms to develop. Storms are likely to develop out to the west during the early stages of the afternoon. As they move east, they become a little bit more organized. What that will actually do is reduce the risk of an isolated spin up or some strong hail, but it will increase the overall severe weather risk, especially across the northern part of our area due to damaging winds. If you look, this has got a little bit of a bow shape. That is very typical signature of some very strong winds. That would be the concern. Now, there is a chance that we don't get a lot of clearing or the dynamics just don't come together. So this isn't a surefire thing, but there is at least some chance for strong to severe storms later on today. And in particular, we are talking afternoon. No temperatures tomorrow, down in the low 30s. This begins the next phase of colder weather. Again, thunderstorms possible. Mostly cloudy with some showers overnight. Once we get rid of the storms, it is going to remain windy really all day tomorrow. It's going to be breezy, and with temperatures in the 30s, it's going to feel like the 20s. We will see temperatures continue to stay at or around average all the way through next week. Sunday and Wednesday, forget about strong to severe storms. We may actually be dealing with snow across the area. We'll talk more in detail as we get past today, but today the eyes are on the afternoon and evening. Be weather aware. Now, this morning you want to be a little bit more aware on the roads. We do have the risk of some ponding here and there, and perhaps even some low-lying areas flooding, so just be a little bit more cautious outside.
Our time right now is 6:52. Dayton police trying to put a stop to street racing, what they're asking for from commissioners and how they plan to stop dangerous driving.
Big news this morning for the East End Family Service and Wellness Center. The organization is now expanding its services for families in the Miami Valley.
We're heading back out to Clara Faith this morning to explain what changes are coming. Clara.
Yes, the East End Family Services and Wellness Center, its mission is to help educate people and also help them during difficult times. They just got $1 million, and they say that money will go towards mental health services, youth and family programs.
We have a middle school program, which we want to expand. And then our youth program, we're gearing toward not only keeping our teenagers in school to complete high school, but also give them some early career experience.
So, Clara, when exactly does the East End plan on launching these new programs?
I'm told that the expansion won't happen until spring of this year, and in just a few hours, Congressman Mike Turner and former Governor Bob Taft will be here in Dayton to explain the expansion in more details. Reporting live in Dayton, Clara Faith, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
This morning, Butler Township Police providing new body camera footage of this controversial arrest. We're now seeing the officer's point of view and learning what led up to the moment he struck a woman multiple times. Our Mamie Ba sat down with local law enforcement and the woman at the center of the controversy.
We know this all started over a piece of cheese inside this McDonald's behind me. Now, officers came to the scene after they were called by an employee inside saying that Ms. Hancock was trespassing. Now, when officers arrived, they did listen to her side of the story. After that, they did ask her for her first and last name so they can create a trespass notice. However, Ms. Hancock refused, and of course, as you see here, things did escalate between the two. Now, I did speak with her, and this is what she had to say about the whole encounter.
I almost lost my life behind it. The reason why I said, I'm going to be quiet now. I'm going to stand up. I'm not going to be George Floyd. They're not going to get me on the ground. They're not going to attack me.
We do know that officers Todd Stanley and Tim Zellers are the officers you see in this video. Now, we do know that Stanley, the officer that punched Hancock, is on administrative leave at this time. The police chief tells me it's because of the public outcry. Now, I did also talk to him about why the department is investigating itself in this situation, and this is what he had to say.
With the degree of this, don't you think it's important for there to be an impartial party that comes in and looks into the conduct of your officers?
Well, that depends. I mean, so when we're looking at the degree of what we're talking about, are we talking about the video that we saw, or are we talking about what the degree of the officer's response was?
You know, that video got a lot of views all over social media. Now, another thing to note in this situation is that Attorney Michael Wright, along with Hancock and the Dayton NAACP, said that they want accountability. They want the officers in this situation to be fired, and they want an independent investigation. Now, we'll continue to follow this story for you, and as we learn more, we'll bring you the very latest. Back to you.
Dayton Public Schools searching